Property Compliance Matters, brought to you by Shine SA, PCM for short. This week we are going to have a chat about drawn up building plans that's handed to you versus building plans that are actually approvable. When you receive a set of building plans from an architectural professional, it's not to say that it is approvable. When an architectural professional draws up a set of building plans, whether it be for new structures or additions or alterations or as-built structures, existing structures that require building plans, it needs to be done within the context of the national building regulations, that specific district's municipal bylaws, and then also the town planning scheme of that district. So a lot of the times what we see is the architectural professional is able to, from a theoretical perspective, produce a set of building plans which comply to the national building regulations, but due to a lack of understanding of that specific district's town planning scheme and municipal bylaws, those plans are actually not approvable without significant additional costs to the owner. This is why a lot of architectural professionals outsource the council approval portion of the project to a council runner or facilitator who is able to apply the bylaws and the town planning scheme of that specific area where they specialize in, and then basically facilitate the building plan through approval. The challenge with this is because you deal with a variety of different structures, so some of them are already existing, some of them are proposed new structures, some of them are total new structures, new homes, new business offices. It's a reactive approach, and because of a lack of understanding from the architect's perspective on the bylaws and on the town planning scheme, a lot of the structures or a lot of the building plans that are submitted are actually not approvable. And now, reactively, the owner finds that out as the plans get circulated and go through the different departments within that council that needs to sign that off. These costs can escalate to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of rands so quickly, all reactive to the owner. So that's why so many projects just are abandoned halfway, because there's no more funds left. Some examples, a development, a golf driving range development, building plans are missing, additional restaurants are erected on the property, architect is appointed, gets paid, draws up the building plans. Long story short, the building plans are not approvable because of the geological conditions. Millions of rands to fix the problem, but the architect is already appointed. Another example, neighbors that are not willing to sign off on building lines, specifically here in Tshwane. Every area has their own bylaws, but specifically here in Tshwane, if your neighbors don't want to sign off on a building line that you are encroaching with a structure on your property, that you have a 40,000 rand problem. So if it's a proposed structure, it's okay, but if it's an existing structure, because your plans are missing and you need new plans, either to buy or to sell your property, you've got a 40,000 rand problem. Your town planner will then go and motivate your situation at the municipal tribunal, and if that is unsuccessful, you need to go to High Court. But the architectural professional and the runner has already been paid, but your building plans are not approvable. Second dwelling units, structures are converted into flats, and they don't comply with the size restrictions of that specific town planning scheme. Anything between 70,000 to 150,000 rand to make the problem go away. But the architectural professional and the runner has already been paid. So, enough ranting and raving. What is the solution to this problem? It's actually not that complicated. We require a proactive approach. So, with a little bit of investigation and procuring some additional information, it's actually possible, if you've got some experience in that area and if you've got some experience with building plans, to proactively identify possible pitfalls. If the neighbor doesn't want to sign off, there's an issue. It needs to be sorted out. Maybe this is a good idea for everybody to make friends with their neighbors again, because we're not talking to our neighbors anymore. So bak maar 'n bietjie koeksers en melktert and take it to your neighbors so that you can get the signatures on your plans. Back to the point. Or if there's a second dwelling unit application that needs to happen. Or if there is a geological soil situation that might cause the building plans not to be approved. So actually, a due diligence type of investigation, we call it a professional assessment, needs to happen before a professional is appointed and before somebody pays tens of thousands of rands for an architectural professional to start drawing up the plans. Unfortunately, with what we experience every day, it seems like the focus from the architectural field is more on the amount of time and work that it takes to produce a set of building plans. And don't get me wrong, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of work. My husband is an architect, I understand. But if we look at it from the owner's perspective, who actually has to pay for it, the focus should not just be on producing building plans. The focus should be on producing building plans which are approvable within the context of that council where it is submitted, and approvable without any hectic additional costs to the owner. And if there are additional hectic costs to the owner should have the opportunity to step back for a month or a year or 3 years before they move forward, or sometimes even abandon the whole project. I did ask an architect once why they are not discussing the additional costs with their client, costs that they were aware of. And the response was, I'm not appointed to be a project manager, I'm the architect, I need to draw up the plans. And the second portion to that is if I tell them everything, then I'm not going to get my portion. So if you appreciate the proactive approach, if you would like to have a true solution-orientated, ethically structured approach, get into touch with Shine SA.